guys, and welcome back to another episode of Livin With Intention. And to start off, I just want to say I don't want these episodes to just feel like a cookie cutter video, where it's just like a standard tour. I want each video and each episode to have like a personal feel to it and make you feel as if you're with me here, and have each one be different and unique, just like all of these places are. For today's episode, I'm in Durham, Maine, and I'm at the Old Crow Ranch tiny home, and this spot is seriously impressive. It is only an 8 by 24 foot tiny home, which really, trust me, is small, but it sure does not feel like it. I mean, there's just so much space in here, and they really made such a good use out of it. It can sleep up to 4, which is beyond impressive for a space this small. And I really like that it's on a farm as well, and there's something to be said about a small homestead and small farm. And as much as where I'm at in life right now, I don't eat meat currently, but I think as a society we need to transition away from just buying your meats from a grocery store, because that's just not sustainable. Whereas if you support small local farms like this one, the meats are just so much better for you, and that the animals were raised with love and caring, and it wasn't just made for money. But anyways, let's get right into it. Like I said, the space is 8 feet by 24 feet, which again is really small, but what they've done with the space is just so impressive. I mean, right when you walk in, you're greeted by this lovely couch sofa that actually turns into another full bed. So like I said, you can sleep up to 4 people in here, which is wildly impressive. And I think one of the first things you notice is just how bright and airy this space is. I mean, there's a light on right behind me back there, but other than that, there are no lights right now, and it is just so bright in here. Just like this wall of windows right here. I mean, it's beautiful. The natural light just floods in throughout the day, and it's really amazing. And then moving on here, you have this small little dining table right next to me, which, I mean, as you can see, it's just me here, so I didn't need to fold it out, but it does fold out if you need more space. But it's a perfect little spot. I've done some work there. I've ate there. It's all you really need, Tiny living, man. And then behind me here, you have the kitchen space, which features a 2-burner induction stove, a double-sided sink actually, which is really nice. You don't really see those all that often in tiny homes, so I like that as an addition. And there's also tons of counter space behind me as well, with a toaster, coffee maker, also a fridge and freezer. And one of the coolest things ever is that they provide their own homemade kombucha, which again, big kombucha guy, and this one is like sweet and tangy and just impressive. But yeah, so they also provide tons of dinnerware, cookingware. They have some really nice cast iron pans, which I just love cooking with. Tons of spices and oils, and really anything you would need to cook in here, they have it. As you can see, they kind of have some white pine that they have on the sides of the walls, and it pairs really nicely with all the natural colored wood in here as well. So they really did such a good job designing it. And through that door back there, you actually have the bathroom, which for a tiny home, it doesn't really feel like it. There's a composting toilet that, they do provide instructions, but it's very easy to use. If you're hesitant to use a composting toilet, don't be. It is not scary. It's not difficult to do. It doesn't smell. It's very simple. They also have a shower in there too, which, I fit in there. And granted, I'm not the biggest person, but how much space do you really need to shower, right? The fact that there is a shower in there, and there's still all this room here. They also have a split level heating and cooling system. So, it was like 5 degrees out last night, and it stayed perfectly warm here. And then right behind me here, you see this ladder that goes right up to the loft, and this loft is amazing. Granted, the ladder is a little steep, but it's not too steep to the point where you feel like you're gonna fall, or you feel like the ladder's gonna fall out. It's very easy to climb up, and then once you're up there, my goodness, there's again so many windows up there, and there's this wonderful skylight right above the bed, and it's covered in snow right now, but it still lets in some really amazing light. I can't say enough good things about this place. It's really remarkable. But I really like this design for the compactness of it. It's not extravagant, it's not crazy out of the ordinary. It's very rectangular, it's very compact. They fit what they needed to fit in here, and for tiny living, this one really hits the nail on the head. It really does. And so I don't want to make these videos too promotional of the Airbnb itself, or of the rental itself. This is more of a series on the different types of rentals. So I want to talk more about like the stories and the backgrounds of the people, and how they got started into it, and their thoughts on the process and everything like that. And I was actually lucky enough to be able to sit down and chat with Seren and kind of hear her story and how she got started hosting people in this tiny home, and hear just how much she loves it.
I'm Seren Sinisi, and this is the Crow's Nest Tiny House. Tiny Homes of Maine, I commissioned them in January. They delivered it by the end of March, which was pretty awesome. It came without a scrib of paint on it, but everything installed, and then it was up to me to sort of decorate, paint out, and make the final living arrangements of how it all worked. It's a shed roof building. I had this idea that the bed, you would lean against the far wall, but with the shed roof, I was like, oh, you can't sit up in bed. I guess it's going against the windows. So things changed as it got set up, but it was a really fun process. The couch inside, I don't know if you pulled it apart, but it has a poplar base with a custom designed cushions that turns into a full-size bed. Just looking on YouTube for, what designs are out there, and custom building a lot of stuff to fit in a small space. When we got the idea to expand into agritourism, seemingly we were either going to do a tiny house of some sort, and tiny house on wheels seemed like the natural, because then if we didn't end up hosting people, or if it didn't take off, there was an exit strategy. You can pull it away, you can sell it, and They're very popular. So we thought we'd have no troubles there. As it turns out, I love hosting people, which I knew I would, and people love coming and staying. We are like a year and a half in, and we've got fabulous reviews and fabulous occupancy rates, and I think we're all doing pretty well. There's limited patience on all fronts at times, but we really enjoy giving a farm tour as part of the stay here in the Crow's Nest. Go to see the cows and the chickens in the summertime, and the piggies, and the big gardens. So it's cool. So we were gonna make something here on farm that would invite people for an agritourism angle. And the natural was a tiny house, because we could see the writing on the wall with people just going nuts over the whole tiny house phenomenon. That live simply, the paring down what you own. It was really fun to set up this tiny house and think about, what are the essentials? I've been asking my guests throughout the year and a half, what is it missing? What does it need? And granted, it's a temporary space rather than a lived-in, so more storage would be necessary probably if it was a year-round residence, but it's got just about everything you need in a very small space.
One of the coolest parts about doing what it is that I'm doing is actually getting to meet the host and their families and hear their stories and their backgrounds, and just see how much they love what it is that they're doing and how passionate they are about it. It's incredible, and I'm so beyond grateful for it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had such a blast there. I'll link the Crow's Nest Tiny House in the description below. Go check them out, and I hope you guys will continue following along. I'm just getting started. Till next time, peace.